Good evening, Patriots, and welcome to the Q Lounge Live. Hi, I'm your host, Shady Groove. It is just after 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Guys, it is Friday night. How's everybody doing out there? Thank you for coming to the show. Welcome, everyone. If you have never been here before, if you are new to Q, welcome to the revolution. We are a band of anons that will not be stopped. Your progress will not be hindered. And I promise you, if you pay attention tonight, you're going to learn something. To all of the beautiful men and women out there in blue, that is the moderators, and they are here to help you. They're here to bring you the sauce, the source, the links about what we're talking about here tonight. And it is very, very complicated, all of the things that we are dealing with in this world, and everybody is here together to try to fix it together. That's our goal. We got to fix this mess. We've got to fix this mess that we got ourselves into, and this is a beautiful bunch of Patriots here to help me out with that tonight. So thank you to the moderators out there for all of this, and to all of the people around the world who join our streams and come to this conversation. Guys, this is unprecedented time in history. We've never seen anything like this. You've never seen anything like it. I promise you, there's nothing going to stop the progress that Patriots have made. And I am sorry that I've been gone for a few weeks. I've been out and about. We went out on a big, awesome trip across the country. I got to see Montana. I got to see South Dakota. Beautiful, beautiful country that we have. I was blessed to be able to meet up with JT out there, and we had a great time at the Red Pill Roadshow and also at the Sturgis event where they had some pretty cool things that I'm going to show you here in just a few minutes. But right up top, I would like to thank you guys, all of you, for the support that you're being and for the impact that our shows, Matrix and I, do every day on the weekdays. I really love this guy. I'm telling you what, there's no larger patriot. I thought I was the biggest patriot, but this guy is one of a kind. So really a big shout out to intheMatrixxx out there and all the work that he does for you guys here behind the scenes. If you would like to join our Discord, we have a Discord link that you can join and come over and hang out with us for a $10 a month donation to Patreon. You get to come into the Discord with all of the other fun critters that are out there, little frogs jumping around everywhere. And so thank you very much for that. Also, I would like to say real quick, Jessie Melton, who came on the show earlier, she is wonderful, great patriot in Florida 22. If you're not, please support her. Maybe go give her a little bit of a campaign donation. Joe Ray Perkins, running for Senate in Oregon, someone who's not afraid to stand up for the president and not afraid to stand up and say where we go one, we go all in the face of brutal media onslaught. Also, we have the Common Sense Show on Wednesdays, guys, where we are going over our founding fathers and what we think that they meant for you to know still today. And so with all that going on, really, really lots of happenings out there. I hope everyone is well. I know there was a big Twitter purge this week, and I think some of you got caught up in some of that. And one of our favorite patriots, Q Patriot Robertson, had her account removed this week as well. And today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Q Patriot Robinson, if you're out there. Much love to you. Thank you for the wonderful presents that you've sent Matrix and I. You're such a blessing and such a great patriot, and we really appreciate you so much. But everybody else out there, this is an epic time right now in the course of our lives. This is epic. This is on another level. This is freedom fighting fascism. What you're seeing right now in your world, in your country, this division that you're seeing is very simply, it's freedom trying to hold on where fascism is trying to come in and take over. The authoritarian dictatorship, if you were paying attention today, they are now accusing your president of sending federal troops into these Democrat-controlled cities to steal the election. So that's their new narrative, and they were all out there in their talking heads and their clown suits, and they're bouncing around off the walls, acting like they know what you need to know, and in reality, what are they doing? They are trying to keep control. They do not want to lose control. And your minds coming to shows like mine and all the other great patriots out there have whittled away their support and their narrative. We even had the Nick Sandmann case. I think he got like another couple $100 million. So this kid's like almost a billionaire, and he hasn't even turned 25 yet. So pretty amazing to see how everything is shaking loose and what we're all kind of facing here. But the truth is, like I said, it's fascism. We are faced with people who want to tear down our institutions. We're faced with people who do not really love America, and they masquerade every day as if they do. So kudos to you. And let me tell you right now, this fight isn't over. As a matter of fact, it's just now beginning, because now we can clearly see, you can clearly see the enemy out there, everyone. And so I have named this show, We Are the Builders. We are the builders, guys. And what do I mean by that? I'll take a little playbook from your great president, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a builder. He's not a financial guy. He's not a hedge fund manager. He's a builder. He's not a banker. He's a builder. And if you've paid attention to him over his long career, you have witnessed him build an empire from pretty much scratch in the mid-late 80s, early 90s, made good real estate deals, and built things. So we are here right now. We're building things, aren't we? What are we building? Well, we're building trust in ourselves. And we're building trust in each other. Trust that will be tested, and trust that will be challenged, and trust that will be broken. That's no kidding. But within all of it, we are building it. Do you see that? You are speaking up for your country. Just a little while ago, 3 to 4 years ago even, 4 or 5 years ago, you didn't see any human being around you hardly building your trust. You didn't see anyone around you who was giving you real information. And now we have a source of real information through this back channel known as Q. And they are targeting Q specifically now on Twitter and saying that Q and Q hashtags and Q related content is dangerous. What's it dangerous to? I'm not saying it's not dangerous. What are they saying it's dangerous to? They're not telling you what it's dangerous to. It's dangerous to their democracy. And so they say it straight out, don't they? And so Twitter can put up jihadists, they can put up ISIS, they can put up Antifa, they can put up BLM, they can put up any of this stuff that they want to and proclamize and do their little dance. But really, you're going to banish American patriots from a platform built from American ingenuity, quote unquote. Now, that can be up for debate of whether exactly how it all came to be, but that's the general idea. But within the act of trusting each other, something pretty amazing starts to happen, doesn't it? We woke each other up. We helped each other wake up. We worked together to wake each other up. We got on the same page and we scrapped it out and we threw the theories against the wall and we saw what would stick and we decided that no, that's not working and that doesn't fit this and this doesn't fit that and Q said this and something might have been a misdirection. But in all, we're moving forward on this train of information, and we are in an information war right now. It is an all-out assault on the truth. I have been labeled a truther for 25 years now by people that don't want to listen to the alternative theory in the media, and I've been trying to explain to people that the media literally is telling you everything in a 180-degree mirror, and you listen to them like they're saying the opposite, and you can almost completely understand what they're saying. But us together, we've woke each other up independently of that structure, of our individual dogma, of groupthink, and of all of these other divisions that run among men. And what we're going to present tonight is a little bit of how it's manipulated, what the manipulation is, where does it come from, and who do we have to point the finger at whenever time comes to point the finger. But whenever we said, initiated this whole thing, whenever all of you great voices a couple of years ago came to Q, you know what our goal was? Our goal was to break the mainstream media, wasn't it? It was to break them, to break the wheel. And far as I can tell, I think that that's what we've done. It's broken. Because we no longer collectively trust it, we trust each other. And that is a very, very huge discernment to make. We've learned to trust one another. Now, we already trusted one another on a large scale, didn't we? Because we get out on the roads and we drive towards each other at 65, 70 miles an hour on the interstates. And we trust that someone going right along beside us isn't going to make a mistake and drive into us or cross the yellow line and kill us. There's a huge level of trust there that is ingrained in our society, and they are attempting to erode it. That's their goal. Our institutions have deceived us. They've usurped us. The fourth estate, being our media, has now become the jackbooted thugs they're supposed to protect you and I from. And I think that that is on full display in our society today. I do not believe that they are hiding it any longer. They don't care to hide it from you any longer. They don't care what you think. It is go time. Their game is up. They are hurting for attention. You are bringing pain to them. Anons, patriots, worldwide, simply because you can speak to your family on a personal, individual level. You can talk to people. You can change things. Matrix was running around in convenience stores playing the Fauci clip where he says that masks aren't necessary, red pilling people, speaking to people. What we're seeing right now with the whole mask thing is absurd. And we're going to dive into why it's absurd as well. But first off, I wanted to get into a couple of things because I wanted to show you a little bit of what I experienced at the rally that we went to for Trump there at Mount Rushmore. Check this out, guys. What was that, you ask? That right there was 500 beautiful patriots unfurling the largest American flag known to man. That's what that was. That was 500 of us, 100 on each side, 50 on the edges, opening up that flag at night with all the people lined around to stand in reverence to our wonderful, beautiful country and showing patriotism to the world and showing each other confidence and showing that we could do something extraordinary. That flag weighed 3,000 pounds. I was in the middle of the low end where we were pulling it across the field. And I have to tell you, I was standing there looking around going, wow, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? And man alive, was that beautiful. I mean, that was just something that was absolutely spectacular that I had to share with you because this is not just another 4-year election. It's not. This has a lot of power, what we're doing right now. We have come to a point in history where they're no longer going to tell us what we can and what we can't do. Because we can do anything. We can do anything we set our minds to. That's America. That's the reason that I fight. That's the reason most of you fight. Land of the free because of the brave. We stand for this flag for a reason. No one's forcing you to stand. We stand for this flag because we believe in freedom and because we cherish those lives who came before us who did not live any longer. That's why we stand in reverence to that flag. Because that flag and this country has given each and every one of us something that no other country in the form of human existence ever could have or ever has, which is freedom. And right now it's being systematically removed from you. They're taking freedom away from you. And I'm going to pivot from that glorious moment of understanding what it is Americans can do and who your country is and who died for you and who served you and who spoke for you before you were born. And pivot to this. That's right, you're reading that correctly. Major League Baseball players are kneeling for the national anthem and isolating someone who stands. You think we're at a turning point? We now have Black Lives Matter on the front of Fenway Park, and I think other stadiums are coming. Is Black Lives Matter reverence to your country? Are they standing up for you? Are they standing up for people of different races? Or is there a different agenda here? Is there an agenda to shut you up, to isolate you, and to make you feel less than? Is that going on? And my hat's off to this gentleman who would not kneel. And just like many of you, I will not kneel. And you will not force me to kneel. And I will die fighting before I live on my knees. Do each of you feel that way? Do you? Because this is the fight of our lives. This next 100 days is the fight of our lives. And it's not going to end leading up to the election, just so I can share this with you. This is not about letting everybody know everything that's going on before this election. This was an 8-year plan. It's obvious that Q was an 8-year plan. So for anybody out there that's running around and flapping around and say they know who Q is, or this is Q, or this person can't be Q, or Q was fake and Q is back now and Q has done this, these people are full of it. And Anons were trained very well. And I am seeing so many of you out there who are standing up and standing tall in the face of liars. They are liars. People that are telling you that they are Q, liars. People that are telling you that, oh, Q is different than it was before, liars. And I can go through and prove that they're lying, but I'm not wasting my time on them because we have something else to do. We have a republic to fight for. And right here, in this picture right here, what I see is we're losing a little bit, don't you? So I initially thought that this wasn't real, and I made a tweet last night where I cursed. And then I took it down because I thought that, no, there's no way that this was real. But it turned out it was. And I literally cried. And my heart sank when I realized that this is real. It's not pretend. And it's coming to your sporting facility near you. I would suggest that it's time to put down the cold beer and the football and to become a strong patriot and realize that you're in a fight for your life. And the time for entertainment is in the past. The time for doing patriot stuff is now. And let me tell you right now, if Donald Trump does not win November 3rd, you and I and all of you great Anons, patriots around the world who've come to this network, who've tried to expose Q, you're going to be hunted down. They're coming for you. They're already saying it. They're already saying it. And your great president and his whole family will have to go into hiding forever. You'll never see him again until they can produce his body and hold that up as some sort of martyrdom. We do not kneel to tyrants. We're Americans, so start acting like it, please. And start shaming people that do this. I don't care. Go to their social media. Send them an email. Send the organization an email. Get loud. We've got to get loud. This is outrageous. But they keep doing it. Why? Because we just keep sitting here and taking it, don't we? We just keep sitting here and taking it. Right on the chin? Is that why you were brought into this life? To take it on the chin? To be quiet? To be silenced? To be shunned? To be put in the corner? We're dependent on you, Patriots. The people that are speaking up for Q and that have come out are depending on you to share information. And that's part of the reason I do this show, the Q Lounge Live, is because I want to spread and share information. And so from here, we're going to jump into this.
Cancelled. Social events have been postponed.
The initiate is largely removed from the otherwise familiar persons, places, and things one is used to, in order to be cleared of them.
Stay home. Protect yourself. Protect our system. Stay home. Everyone must stay at home. We have to stay home because if we don't, stay home, stay safe.
Detached and insulated. Purged. Purified.
An extraordinary time where we have to stay home. We have to stay physically distant from the ones we love.
Involves 3 stages. Let's see if any of these sound familiar to you. The first stage is isolation for purification. In this stage, the initiate is separated from the mundane. Did you know that mundane literally means of the world? The initiate is largely removed from the otherwise familiar persons, places, and things that they're used to in order to be cleared of them. An initiate is forced to become detached and isolated and purged and purified. An essential element of this separation from one's typical environment is the suspension of the normal rules of living that one is used to, the normal way. Most of the initiate's senses will become commanded and regulated at this time. In other words, the majority of what the initiate sees, hears, smells, touches, and tastes is deliberately controlled. In the ritual, these senses may be bombarded and modified and limited or deprived, but regardless, perceptions and experiences are ultimately overseen by the high priest and priestesses directing the ritual's performance. The ritual enables new light to shine through a newly opened window of thought. With nowhere else to go except the places that we are allowed, the insulated, isolated, initiated may be forced to confront his or her own reflection and inner shadows that have been ignored or buried somewhere deep beneath the average day-to-day. These things suddenly become unavoidable. Triggers are detonated, another purge. Just as they involve surrender, initiation rituals also involve sacrifice, both the tangible that can be held in the hand and the intangible, such as behavior, must be given up by requirement. After all, for something to be given, something must also be taken. A token of submission, an ounce of blood, a pound of clay to be remodeled. Whether dramatically overt or deceitfully subtle, the ritual reinterprets readily. A new definition of reality is given. Training in the form of new behaviors and knowledge, including myths and codes, are introduced. Things necessary for new members to function properly in the society they're being inducted into are all imbued during this time. And repetition is typical, as its use helps hammer home the spell of the initiate. I'm not going to read all of this, but I wanted to give you a little lead in to how you are being initiated, how you're being traumatized, and how violence against you is being perpetrated simply by telling you to stay home. You are entering into a ritualistic initiation ladies and gentlemen. And this right here, that nice little mask with the hearts on it, that's your muzzle. So go ahead and shut up. Don't say anything about the baseball players. Don't say anything about the Black Lives Matter. Don't say anything about your cities being in turmoil. Do not speak. Do not stand up, or you will be ridiculed, shunned, silenced. How did they get such an infrastructure with so much power? And how did they organize this? And what was the plan if Trump didn't win? Here's one of your guys right here. This is a great article that just came out from the Millennial Report back in May. But these guys are very thorough and really good. And this is a very interesting dig into Fauci, the past, the deep state, the COVID, all of these narratives that they've been setting up for decades that we've talked about are coordinating together. As you can see here. There is zero difference in the establishment between a Republican and a Democrat. Those are parties that look to sustain their structure. You are a threat to this structure. You, by not wearing a mask, are not listening to these people. I know your president said to wear a mask and that it was good, but he didn't mandate it. Is he giving you the opportunity to be strong? Is he giving you the opportunity to stand up? All of these organizations work in tandem, and they've all come under the same umbrella to silence patriots. And they're thumbing their nose at you every single day, and they're saying this: what are you going to do about it? Huh? What are you going to do about it? Huh? Like the bully on the playground, aren't they? There's nothing you can do about it, they say. You can't stand up to us. Just yesterday, this guy was out there throwing out the first pitch at the game, and then he's sitting in the stands without his mask on, and then he gets called out, and he says, "Oh, I was having a sip of water." Oh, how convenient. How convenient that this is all tied into the exact same globalist structure that we have been exposing, and now it is front and center for you to witness, to talk about, and to share this hypocrisy. They are the enemy. The enemy is at the door. The enemy is inside the house, sitting in your chair, looking at you, wondering why you want your chair back. Do you go sit on the couch? Or are we going to get the enemy out of the chair and out of the house? It is not division to stand up against Marxism. It is not division to stand up against communism. It is not division to stand up against radical Islamic terrorism. It is not division. It is not racism. And had our founding fathers been alive today, you know what they would do? They would look us right in the eye and they would say, string them up. Not even a thought. Because they're traitors to freedom. And they're easily identified as such.
You know, we're in a situation where absurdly and ludicrously, a government is ridiculously claiming that it is interested in saving lives and protecting people's health, and is harassing a man with a health disability and dragging him into court because he refused to bend the knee to this tyranny. But also think about the fact that at the very height of this alleged pandemic, back in April, there was no talk of compulsory masks.
No.
In all of May, when the figures were dying away to nothing, there was no talk of compulsory masks. In June, when there were no cases virtually at all, there was no talk of compulsory masks. Now, when it's all but disappeared, it's gone. It's gone. They are now bringing in compulsory masks. And the reason for that is they need visible evidence of terror.
Yes.
They need to create a visibility of the terror that they want to inculcate in the people. And that's why this is so important to them. These are really sinister people we're dealing with now. These are people that we previously thought of as people of our own kind, these politicians. But we have to start thinking of them now as alien beings, as hostile beings to the Irish people. They are the enemies of the Irish people. Clearly they are intent, because the mask is a way of denying the very human face of the person. It is a way of taking away the individual, unique humanity of each person and turning us all into zombies and restoring us to a kind of animal state, so that we no longer will look at each other coming down the street as Tom or Mick or Mary, my friend, my sister, my brother, but instead as a festering mess of bacteria and viruses, which is a danger to my health. Oh! You know, I have to get out of the way. This is what they are turning the human person into. With this whole thing. This is, I'm not saying that our people are responsible for thinking this up. They don't have the brains for that or anything. But this is what they're implementing. This is the thinking behind it, to destroy the spirit of the human person, the individuality, the personality, the conscience, the character of the human person. That is what this project is about.
It's about turning you into a robot. It's about terrorizing you. These people are terrorizing us. They are using other people as police forces for you go into a store and then they start attacking you because you're not wearing a mask. That's violence. And 6 months ago, it was unheard of. And today, it's what? The new normal? Are we taking our cues from the mainstream media? Because what I see whenever I look out over the Patriots that come to our programs that I interact with on Twitter, I don't see it. I see people getting stronger. I see people standing up. I see people that are tired, sick and tired of the BS. And it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time till enough of us are sick and tired. When will that be? Tomorrow? No. A month from now? Probably not. By the election? Maybe. Depends on what we do. It depends individually on each of us and what we do. Do we stop fighting? Do we stop talking? Put on your tinfoil hat and go forth, my young friend. Because it's fight or die. Freedom is life. And if we don't fight, we die. Our society dies. Our society turns into the cesspool that you're seeing right now in Portland, that is about to begin in San Francisco, that more than likely will start in New York, maybe even in places in Michigan and Illinois. Their whole scheme is to divide our country. If we can prevent a state from seceding from the Union during all of this, then we have done pretty good. We're not going to wake people up. We're not going to wake everybody up. There's a huge majority of society that just don't care. They don't care. They don't care that they wouldn't exist or be in a jail cell or whatever if they were in China for what they believe, for what they worship. Once you take away someone's reverence to God, then all of a sudden, do they want to fight for their ability to worship God? Think about that. How good have they done that to us over the past 3-4 decades? Engineered. You've been engineered. We have articles like this. CDC labs contaminated, delaying coronavirus testing, officials say. Oh, the testing was contaminated early. The testing was inaccurate early because they were trying to get way more people positive. Now we've done over 50 million tests, and they still do not acknowledge in the media that there is no death. No one's dying from this anymore. 50% of the people that passed away from COVID were in nursing homes. And a huge majority of those people would not have died had Cuomo and Newsom and Whitmer and a few others put people in the nursing homes to infect them intentionally. Can we prove this? I don't know. Maybe. But that's what happened. Could we control it? Obviously not. So the lead up for this to making you wear a mask, if you noticed, just like the gentleman there said, there was no mask mandate in April. There was no mask mandate in June. But now there's a mask mandate coming out. And from sea to shining sea, everyone says, you've got to wear a mask. And now they're shaming us if we don't. And so we have to arm ourselves with the information. And the where this is leading to is the vaccine. And our point being that if the vaccines are so good, then if you got the vaccine and the vaccine protects you, then why do I have to get a vaccine? Logic is failed. Now, I know the president's out there talking about vaccines. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. I'm not saying that the theory of vaccine is inaccurate. But what I am saying is that the stuff that they're putting in the vaccines that are made in China, up until whatever they're doing right now, I mean, who knows where they're making this big bunch, but they were made in China, have what in them? You could not imagine how disgusting it is. And to show you, again, this article that I've showed you a couple of times before, the 1917 Rudolf Steiner foresaw a vaccine that would drive all inclination towards spirituality out of people's souls. This is a great article. I'm not going to read this article, but I wanted to, because I've went over it a little bit before, but doesn't this lead right into what we're talking about? Now, wasn't I just talking about they've engineered a society that has walked away from God? They've engineered a society that doesn't think that there is a plan, doesn't think that there's a place for you in this world. How did they do that? Well, we have the largest group of vaccinated human beings on planet Earth. And they all line up every year. Give me the flu shot. Give me the flu shot. Give me the flu shot. Well, they don't really put on the sticker made in China on that flu shot, do they? Anybody out there seen a sticker that says made in China on the flu shot? Or any other shot for that matter? You don't know where this stuff is coming from, and you don't know what they're doing. And I'm not saying that patriots aren't taking control of these systems, and I'm not saying that there isn't science backing up some sort of vaccine that could prevent the common cold. I don't know. But what I do know is what they've been putting in the vaccines. What I do know is that they've been giving, I'm 46 years old. I got like 6 or 7 vaccines before I was in school. Now they're giving like 60 or 70. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't even keep up. Different states are doing different things, but it's unbelievable how resilient kids are considering what they put in these shots. How are we going to train the new generation to love freedom? How are we going to show them that freedom is something to not be taken for granted? I don't know. How are we going to show them that the Constitution protects them from tyranny? I don't know. Because the truth of the matter is they can't even sign their name. You guys know that the kids in school are not even learning cursive. They can't sign their names. So you can't, in theory, legally sign a document if you can't write your name in cursive. Our society is being disseminated right in front of us. The mechanics of propaganda, the media by which special pleaders transmit their messages to the public through propaganda, include all the means by which people today transmit their ideas to one another. There's no means of human communication which may not also be a means of deliberate propaganda, because propaganda is simply the establishing of a reciprocal understanding between an individual and a group. The important point to the propagandist is that the relative value of the various instruments of propaganda and their relation to the masses are constantly changing. If he is to get full reach for his message, he must take advantage of these shifts of value the instant they occur. 50 years ago, the public meeting was a propaganda instrument per excellence. Today, it is difficult to get more than a handful of people to attend a public meeting unless extraordinary attractions are part of the program. Gotta have some entertainment, right, guys? The automobile takes them away from home. The radio keeps them in the home. The successive daily editions of the newspaper bring information to them in office or subway, and also they are sick of the ballyhoo of the rally. Instead, there are numerous other media of communication, some new, others old, but so transformed that they have become virtually new. The newspaper, of course, remains always a primary medium for the transmission of opinions and ideas, in other words, for propaganda. It was not many years ago that newspaper editors resented what they called the use of the new columns for propaganda purposes. Some editors would even kill a good story if they imagined its publication might benefit anyone. The point of view is now largely abandoned. Today, the leading editorial offices take the view that the real criteria governing the publication or non-publication of matter which comes to the desk is its news value. The newspaper cannot assume, nor is it its function to assume, the responsibility of guaranteeing that what it publishes will not work out to somebody's interest. There is hardly a single item in any daily paper the publication of which does not or might not profit or injure somebody. That is the nature of news. What the newspaper does strive for is that the news which it publishes shall be accurate, and since it must select from the mass news and material available, that it shall be of interest and importance to large groups of its readers. So you see how propaganda became the lead-in. You see how propaganda works whenever you shame the people who don't go along with the propaganda. And you can see the society that we're in where everything is relevant to the propaganda. Nothing can be discussed that is outside of the, quote, group think narrative. People that are in control of these systems control what your friends and family think. They control how they think. They control what they think. They control what they want them to think about something. Each nuance, nothing left unturned. The American motion picture is the greatest unconscious carrier of propaganda in the world today. It is the greatest distributor for ideas and opinions. The motion picture can standardize the ideas of habits of a nation because pictures are made to meet market demands. They reflect, emphasize, and even exaggerate broad popular tendencies rather than stimulate new ideas and opinions. The motion picture avails itself only of ideas and facts which are in vogue. As the newspaper seeks to purvey news, it seeks to purvey entertainment. One in the same now. There's no difference between the newspaper and your entertainment. And your entertainment and your newspapers agree, don't they? They agree there's something wrong with you. They agree there's something wrong with us. They agree that there's something so terribly wrong with us that now we deserve to be attacked. Because we stood up and got an outsider elected. And then we have the ego to continually support him, no matter how they paint him, no matter how they twist the truth, no matter how they run the narrative, no matter how they use the propaganda, you're unswayed. And now we have Q, all the Q information, and now overlay this, what I'm just describing, with what's going on in the Q community. People saying that they're Q. People saying that Q isn't Q. People saying all of these different things about it, like they know something. But the Anon is the only one who knows. Because the Anon read the Q drops. Because the Anon understood the Q drops. Because the Anon understands dissemination of dirty information. And we have learned to trust ourselves and each other. Do you think that that was the reason for Q in the beginning, to begin with? What did Q, POTUS, and the White Hats know that you didn't. I think they knew all of this. They knew all of this. They knew the plan. They knew what they were going to do with the CDC, the WHO, China, all of it. Before Trump even decided to run for office, they knew what was happening. And for us who pay attention to the information, we have to understand that they can't tell us the plan, because if they tell us the plan, then they're telling them the plan. Then they know their plan. That's not going to work. Wrap up smear doesn't work in reverse. So there couldn't be clear evidence of what they're really doing. Nancy Pelosi calls for the review of Washington and Jefferson statues. What would be left if they were left to be? Think about that just a second. What would be left if we let them be? Because today they're saying, oh, it was this person and this person, and racism. Well, how is it racism whenever you're tearing down statues of black Americans who were abolitionists? Or white Americans who were abolitionists, for that matter. Or Lincoln, who freed the slaves. Is this about slavery? Or is this about the pure contempt in their hearts for you and your asserting the fact that you are free? Because this person does not believe you are free and does not believe you have the right to be or should be free. As a matter of fact, they think that you should start to listen better. They think that you should, oh wait, what's the word? Oh yeah, kneel. To tyranny. That's what these people think. And it's not what I think. And it's not what you think. And we're done being quiet about it. And we're starting to find people and places that are getting back their power. And I promise you, this silent majority wakes up and people start to stand in their power. This all collapses quickly. But that is something you cannot predict. That is something you cannot force. Free will is a very tricky thing, isn't it? Free will given to you by your Creator to walk away from Him. Free will given to you by your Creator to walk with Him. You choose. And we have to find people that want to stand up for you. Much like this sheriff right here. Don't be a sheep and blindly cave to governor's mandatory mask order. Here's a quote from your friend Joe Biden. The one thing we do know, these masks are a gigantic difference. I would insist that everybody out in public be wearing that mask. Anyone to reopen would have to make sure that they walked into a business that had masks. Asked if he would use the power of the federal government to enforce this, the former vice president replied, yes, I would. From an executive standpoint, yes, I would. I would do everything possible to make it required that people had to wear masks in public, he said. When asked if he would, in effect, make wearing a mask mandatory. That's a stark contrast, isn't it? Isn't that a pretty big contrast that we have to choose from going into this? Like a president who says you're free to choose to take a risk or to cover your face, which is where I'm at. I feel like if everyone had real information, no one would be wearing the mask. But everybody doesn't have real information. As a matter of fact, the president has to operate in an environment where no one has any real information whatsoever. If anything, they just mock him. So don't hold it against the people who wear the mask. But the people who become the Smiths in the Matrix and start turning their resentment and hatred towards the president or whatever it is NPR's got them in a fervor about today on you, that's a different story. That's crossing a line. So, for my Patriot friends out there, when and if you run into this situation, especially if it's a store clerk or someone in a store, you want to immediately take down their name. And you want to inform them that you will be reporting them for infringing upon your rights. Doesn't matter if you do it or not, but you make the stand in front of that person. You make them shut up. It's like, oh, what's your name, sir? Yeah. My county sheriff. He's a real constitutional guy. He'd like to know who you are in here, pretending like there's some sort of law that says you got to wear a mask inside a store. Thank you very much. Shut up. That's the power that we need to stand with. It's very clear what they are doing. You go to Black Lives Matter, you make a donation, it goes to Act Blue, period. This is fundraising for the Democrat Party. They had nothing in their coffers going into this whole George Floyd thing. And now they've mixed the two. And they have all these people out on the streets that are completely immune. These people that are on the streets for Black Lives Matter and protesting and rioting, they're immune. We don't have to require them to wear a mask. Because they're wearing a different mask, aren't they? They're wearing a mask of Antifa, aren't they? That's much different than the one that we're putting on you, isn't it? Because you see, Antifa chooses to put on that mask so that no one knows who they are. You're forced to put on that mask so that they know you're a slave. The Democrat Party are attempting a hostile takeover of your whole system of government. And they're in cahoots with a large number in the GOP of the never-Trumpers who are going to get louder. And the voices against Q are going to get louder. And the voices against you are going to get louder. So if you have the ability to share information with your friends, like, look, okay, let's go. Let's make a donation to Black Lives Matter. Click. Okay, now let's click this button. Click. Act Blue. Okay, what's Act Blue? Then go look. And then look at how much money the Democrats have raised over the last 2 months. And now they're literally saying when the president is trying to instill and maintain law and order, that the federal people that are there to protect federal property are there to steal an election. They sure can twist that narrative fast, can't they? China. Major powers ordering Christians to renounce God or will cut off your food and housing. Not pretend. China's communist government is warning elderly Christians that they will lose basic benefits if they don't stop practicing their faith. So stop practicing your faith or starve. Is that coming to a theater near you, Patriots? Huh? You think that's not coming here? You think this is not part of their plan? Well, I beg to differ. This is exactly their plan. And China is the model for the rest of the world. If America falls, the world falls. If America falls, the world falls, guys. I can't say that with enough fire and enough force. It's just the way it is. If President Trump doesn't get elected on November 3rd, America will fall. If President Trump gets elected on November 3rd, they're going to run the narrative that he didn't get elected. They're going to do good Lord knows what. Q has pointed to the election day +1. The COVID thing is over. Who are all these creatures? And what are they doing? Oprah and John of God? Oh. Had this guy on her show, loves John of God. Oh, yeah. What are these people doing? There's no cabal? There's no cabal. Hey, look at this. Q gave us a little list here. This is a very interesting list. This is the list of all the people that went to Epstein Island. Anderson Cooper, Bill Murray, Barack Obama, Ben Affleck, Beyonce, Bill Clinton, Bill Hammond, Charlie Sheen, Chelsea Handler, Chris Tucker, Chrissy Teigen, all these innocent people out there, Courtney Love, all these loud innocent people. Notice that? Notice how that the innocent people are so loud? Interesting. John Legend, John Cusack, Jim Carrey, Jimmy Kimmel, James Franco, James Gunn, just to name a few. Naomi Campbell, Michael Wolff, book writer guy, Meryl Streep, Oprah, Quentin Tarantino, Downey Jr., Sandy Berger from the Bush administration, Seth Green. A lot of these people were called out by Cappy. Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, Will Ferrell, Will Smith, Woody Allen, just to name a few. It's so convenient that none of the people on this list have an alternative viewpoint of your president other than the narrative viewpoint. Isn't it interesting how all these people, including the people here, including the people in the NBA, isn't it interesting how these people, get back over here, how these people made fortunes from being Americans, made fortunes from being in entertainment, made fortunes from playing basketball. Meanwhile, the muskets sat in the closet gathering dust. Meanwhile, the conversation about patriotism was ground to dust. All while patriots watched. How much does it take? All these people that go on TV seem to agree. So the propaganda, is it working? Is the spirit of alcohol working? Did you know alcohol was a spirit? Is it keeping people confused and in mind control? Brainwashed? And now you've seen how many you've had to interact with over the course of the last 2 years to understand how effective this has been on our society. The school systems, the college systems, the institutions, the bureaucracy, all of it cooperates with this against you. And now, since I did my last Q Lounge live, we have this big story. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's company Terramar. If you guys haven't not dug into Terramar, well, I suggest you do, because that basically that's basically where they claim that any part of the ocean that isn't part of a country territory belongs to them. And we have Ghislaine Maxwell and all of her nice, fun little friends, a person who is a submarine pilot. Let me say that again, a submarine pilot and a helicopter pilot who's now sitting in the pen, who's now getting very, very nervous because she knows that there's no one at the top in the system right now who protects her, i.e., FBI, CIA, NSC. All of these people conspired perfectly with these people and this person to fool you and to prey on you and to prey on children. So Q said that the first arrest was going to send shockwaves. This is the one that sent shockwaves. Because this person right here, Ghislaine Maxwell, knows all of these people. And this is just the list that we have. There's supposed to be new information coming out soon that's going to show more of this, I think. But this is the current list that we have. These people were on the flight logs. They went to that island. And everything that happened on that island was recorded. And whatever they did on that island that was recorded was to be used against them to make them do whatever it was they say, including make yourself a fool in public to attack the current administration. Come out of hiding, quit pretending there's right and left, and attack. Pretty effective, huh? Then here, the Gateway co-founder's yacht was equipped with a helicopter, a helipad, and a gym docked in Marina del Rey on Thursday. We know. Anons know that there's no going back to tyranny. We're not going back to tyranny. We're not going back pre-revolution. That's what they want. That's what these people want. They think they're going to guide you back to a tyrannical form of rulers and insert a king somewhere or queen. Just a few days ago, we have the NXIVM members dancing for Rainier outside of the federal prison. Nobody's talking about NXIVM or Rainier or the Bronfmans, are they? Boy, the media just not interested in these stories of abuse of children and participation of movie stars, TV stars. This is the cult. This is the real cult. The people that call you a cult are the cult. Plain and simple. This was a great thread here by Slav Trap God. And I wanted to bring this one up because this is very interesting, ready for an interesting rabbit hole. And this is something that I've tweeted about a few times, but he puts it together pretty nicely for your friends and family. James Biden, brother of Joe Biden, gets an amazing land deal for Water Island from a lobbyist while Joe was vice president. The land was in the Virgin Islands, and after some digging, we see it's barely a stone's throw from Epstein Island. But not only that, look at this. Submarine ports. Submarine pilot. Submarine ports. 5-5. Water Island is right across from the sub base, consisting of extensive military bunkers and tunnels in the area leading up from the 1950s. Leased to the government to private entities for a mere $3,000 a year. What a deal. Goes on to the 90s where archaeological digs are then given the green light. Maxwell's introduced at the UN as someone who controls the oceans around the world through Terramar. Originally funded by the Clinton Foundation. You can register to become a citizen of Terramar, and Epstein Island might have been a part of the blackmailing process. Perhaps land deals are part of the process as well. But looky here. Then we have this clip from George Webb that I posted a couple of weeks ago, but this is him out there near there talking about the old submarine base that's now owned by the brother of Joe Biden. Where is your media? Not a peep. This guy literally can't string a sentence together, and he's going to be the president? There is a turd in the punch bowl, friends. And it's called the deep state. It's called the swamp. And like I said before, the fourth estate, the media moguls, the media corporations in your country have failed you miserably, failed you consistently, failed you without thought. And they still masquerade as if you don't know the wiser, like you don't know anything about it. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is to work together with other patriots and to wake up your friends and family and to vote, to vet candidates this election cycle. My homework to my patriot brothers and sisters is that you do not walk into a voting booth and click Republican. my homework to you is that you dig into who these people are. There's Republican candidates out there running for the House and Senate right now that are CIA. There's about 30 of them that are in Congress as we speak, elected officials that came from the farm. That cooperate with some of the people who might be out there saying that they are Q. And the operation that's coming around to proclaim Q has been identified. Trust me, it's coming. So our counter narrative has to be stronger. And who knows what we're going to be? Who knows if we're on YouTube? Who knows if we're on Twitter? But we'll be somewhere, and it's going to be up to you to find us. Because the media does not want you to. They don't want you knowing who we are. They don't want you knowing anything about Q. They don't want you knowing anything about any of this. Epstein was Pinocchio with Geppetto Ghislaine pulling the strings. How interesting. No? 1 + 1 = 2? Hollywood, the media, cooperate to destroy your beautiful republic. The republic that motivated 500 people to open that flag. The republic that motivated men to stand up to the largest armed force ever assembled on planet Earth and fight them off in the Revolutionary War. To write articles against them, to declare independence from them. Was that pussyfooting around an issue? No, that was called lead to the face. Did we go out there as Americans and stand up in lines in pretty coats and shoot at them? No. We climbed up in trees. We hid in the grass. We snuck around behind them. We sent secret messages. We communicated in unusual ways. We spread information, didn't we? To the colonists, didn't we? Who's pulling the strings now? Judiciary Committee releases declassified documents that substantially undercut the Steele dossier. This was dropped to us by Q this week. Very interesting. But what this reveals is something extremely damning, which is whenever they sent agents to the White House for a defensive briefing, which would normally be where you go in and you explain to the president about, oh, these are the threats and this is what you can't do. And this is how, people will approach you and this is what they will do and this is what they might do. And they're going to, be careful for new people that are coming into your life and all of these different things. Well, instead of that, they were running an investigation. And now there's documents that prove that. What we have learned from the release of these documents by the Department of Justice, number one, it's clear to me that the memo regarding the FBI interview of the primary subsource in 17 should have required the system to stop and reevaluate the case against Mr. Page. All of this is coming to light. The dossier was fake. They tried to shove that out to everybody in the press. No one would pay attention to it until BuzzFeed picked it up, and then everybody ran with it. FBI Crossfire Hurricane Unit watched Trump the day he took the oath of office. They renewed the FISA warrants months and months later. RR. This is what they're guilty of. They are guilty of a coup, literally a coup. How many stories, how many books, how many movies, how many teachers, how many classes, how much have we talked about, quote unquote, Watergate, till you're blue in the face, you have heard about Watergate. Watergate. Oh my God. Some people broke into an office and they took some files. Oh. This is a coup. This is the previous administration completely spying on collecting all the information from everyone in the campaign and attacking them personally, going after them, trying to uncover stuff. This is not a crime being investigated. This is people, investigators, investigating people. This is tyranny. Your media are too busy trying to keep you asleep. They can't tell you this stuff. And they won't tell you this stuff. That's why Q and your president needed us. That's why Q and your president needed you right here, right now. The great, wonderful people that are out there in the chat. That's why Q needed you. You think you're not doing anything by coming and watching this content and seeing the shows and participating? Well, you're wrong. Because you are. You're doing something very, very amazing. You are learning stuff. You are programming yourself. There is no way you can unlearn how to ride a bicycle. I'm sorry. Try. We've taught you how to ride the deep state. And I implore you to not stop. Because again, your republic, your president, and your brethren who are asleep, who are triggered and mad at you, are depending on you. And I know that you see this and it makes you want to stop and it makes you want to cry and it makes you want to not participate and it makes you upset. But you have got to learn that your emotional reaction to things is not really the relevant point here. Our logical understanding of our world is the point here. Your founders mandated that you not be a dummy and that you be provided the ability to learn about your republic. To be honest with you, to me, math doesn't matter. Spelling doesn't matter. As much as your history of this republic matters, because you're an American. You're not like everyone else. You're an American. And even though you're silenced and shunned and contracted and pushed along and taxed to death, guess what happens? Guess what? Under all of that stuff, you're still an American. They didn't take that away from you. They can't take it away from you until you give it to them. Invitation. So now we have direct evidence that this guy who's all Mr., the media, remember, the media put this guy and Lisa Page, and now, Andy McCabe is on CNN. Clapper is on CNN. They're all up there talking about, Clapper was saying yesterday that it looks like the president's initiating martial law. Really? Really? You got any sauce on that, brother? Because what it looks like to me is the president is answering the call of governors and other people and police, mainly, who need support in these districts. And then we have the mayors and other officials in the districts refuting help and then pretending like the president's causing the trouble for the mindless sheep who are in those districts to have a boogeyman to point at and not think about what's really going on. Pretty effective, isn't it? And so this came out, and I wanted to read this to you. And I didn't actually get to the last time I meant to, and I missed it the last show that we had. General Flynn, the forces of evil want to steal our freedom in the dark of night, but God stands with us. There are seminal moments in American history that test every fiber of our nation's soul. We are facing one now. Revolutionary forces are causing every American citizen to question which direction the country is heading. To determine the outcome, we must examine our nation's history to project ourselves forward into the future. Once again, tyranny and treachery are in the midst, and although we feel we've descended into a hellish state of existence, we must never forget hell is conquerable. Prayer is the greatest weapon, and a consciousness of God is the ultimate thought of the day. The idea or notion of a heaven on earth is the very real sense of being free. Freedom is oxygen, like the air we breathe, that keeps our lungs full and our hearts beating. The celestial feeling of freedom brings a sense of peace to our souls. Freedom must never be taken for granted. securing our freedom demands a high price, and that price requires hard work and sacrifice. Both will bind us all by the value they produce, but only if we are willing to seek new opportunities and new ideas. Those who have sacrificed the most, those who have given the last true measure of devotion that derives from the love of faith, family, and the cause of freedom, for all of us to be free and for the betterment of our republic and the free world, cannot be allowed to have died in vain. Theirs is the ultimate sacrifice, and heaven is their reward. Our future, the future of our children and grandchildren, and the future of our country are at stake. God will not give way to the care of the devil or allow us to be left to the evil vices of those who would steal our freedom in the dark of night. He will not. Instead, God will stand with us, as he always does. Hard work and personal sacrifice still very much matter. Being a good person and showing kindness to others still matter. If our nation is to survive this crucible moment, we need to fall back on the God-given values and ideals that are the very foundation of our constitutional republic. Let us not fear the uncertainty that comes with the unknown. Instead, accept it and fight through that sense of fear. And we must remember the power of hell, while strong, is limited. God is the ultimate judge and decision maker. His anointed providence is our country, the United States of America. As long as we accept God in the livelihood of our nation, we will be okay. If we don't, we will face a hellish existence. I vote we accept God. Pretty powerful words there from our great general. Words from a man who has seen war. You can kind of tell, can't you? And the war is at his door. The war is still at his door. This judge still has not relinquished control over this case. This judge is perpetuating the narrative that there is still a case against General Flynn, when in fact there is no case against General Flynn. The case has been dismissed by the Department of Justice. For there to be a case now, someone would have to initiate a new one, because that one is no longer being prosecuted because the prosecutors withdrew from their position. It's a contract. They withdrew from their contract, and now the judge is trying to insert control and tyranny. Great article here from Sydney. Creeps on a mission. It has become apparent that we are dealing with not only the mission Creep by Robert Mueller, but with a case of creeps on a mission to destabilize and destroy this president, and I would add, and this country. If you haven't seen this with Sydney, very good outline here. And then we have stuff like this, just to go to the point. Our wonderful friend Joe Flynn had a few things to say to Jason Chaffetz the other day. Hey, Chaffetz, why don't you shut the up? We're in the middle of a knife fight with the deep state, and you have to talk smack about General Flynn. I'll remind everyone that you worked closely with the enemy to continue the Mueller witch hunt. No one in the White House or anyone who supports Donald Trump gives two about your opinion. I will remind them all that when you were in Congress, you wholeheartedly supported Mueller and his, quote, witch hunt with your buddy Elijah Cummings. You're a liar and a grifter and a self-promoting phony rhino like your buddy Delecto, a.k.a. Mittens Romney. Fox News should be very careful having this on the air. He keeps this up and you will lose many viewers, and we remember when you trashed the president and now attack General Flynn at Real Donald Trump and Sidney Powell. Yes, sir, Mr. Flynn, we will remember, I promise you. There is evil preying on us. There is evil everywhere. And it's time we did something about it. It's time that we stop the propaganda, Oprah. and your 1619 re-education program. Go pound sand. This is a human being that, because of a free society, was able to accrue over $1 billion in wealth from sitting on her butt on a TV show laughing with other ladies. Never picked up a hand for my republic. Never picked up a hand to be a patriot. Never stood up for America. And now this. NWO and OWN are very relevant here. This person is wholeheartedly behind this Lincoln Project, which is directly tied to the Black Liberation Army or the communist Marxist underbelly agenda to usurp your nation and insert something dramatically different. Insert something that would look a lot like this guy. James Gunn fired from Guardians of the Galaxy over offensive tweets. Yeah, offensive tweets. Well, that's interesting. You would think that maybe you would have a little bit of, I don't know what, have a little bit of humility, but no. This guy feels like he could just go on Twitter and other platforms and type disgusting things about children and pedophilia. And there was a lot of it. And if you've noticed, including Chrissy Teigen, she deleted almost, what was it, like 60,000 tweets and 1 million people that were following her? Why are they all running back in the past and deleting stuff? What's the matter, guys? I thought that you were all proud. Where's your pride? Where's your pride in your tweets? Chrissy? Gonna get your pedo on? I like that one. That was a real funny one. Real funny. But it doesn't end there. Oh no. How the CIA helped Disney conquer Florida. Look at this, from the Daily Beast even. Oh, they pretty it up and this is the truth. Disney. This Disney right here. This is very interesting if you want to read it. Meanwhile, Honest John and Gideon were at a tavern. A fat coachman was there too. Honest John bragged about how much money Stromboli had paid had paid them for Pinocchio. I pay even more for small boys, said the coachman. He showed them a sack full of gold. The coachman told Honest John his scheme. He brought boys to a place called Pleasure Island. He said, no boys ever return, or at least not as boys. Honest John decided to catch more small boys. And just then Pinocchio and I were racing home to Geppetto. I ran very fast, and I didn't see Honest John stop Pinocchio until it was too late. Same. Your family members, your children, your grandchildren are brainwashed with this garbage, guys. They're brainwashed with all of this garbage. And they think that it's just a TV program. It's just a cartoon. They'll be fine. Does that cartoon make your kid think? Does that cartoon challenge what your kid thinks? Does that cartoon challenge any type of embedded media theory ever? The answer is no. They do not. And there's a very specific reason for that. It's time to unplug. It's time to put this aside. It's time to stop giving a crap about people that hit balls and run around in circles. It's time to stop giving a crap about people who can throw a ball better than someone else. It's time to start giving a crap about someone that can hit a hoop. It's time to stop giving a crap about some moron up there who was in a movie and telling you what you should do and think. It's time to start relearning your history. It's time to start learning about your republic. It's time to start plugging into saving this country. If you do not, it will be lost, and you'll never watch a baseball game again, trust me. Maybe you don't want to, I don't know. But what I would like to see you do is to spend any time that you're going to go for entertainment or go out for a cold beer. Maybe you can't go out. Spend some time with your kids. Talk to them about the Constitution. Ask them what it is their teachers are telling them in school. Ask them and show them where the teachers are wrong. Your kids could be armed to challenge these people. I challenged my teachers in school. I didn't believe the stuff that they were telling me. I got smacked down for it, but I wasn't afraid to challenge them. And right now, if you have a child in school that stands up and he says, I'm not so sure this Black Lives Matter thing is legitimate, what's going to happen to him? All hell is going to ensue on that poor soul from every single person they can imagine simply for raising a question. Give me a 17 out there if this message is getting through. Are you guys with me on this? Am I talking to no one, or am I talking to a group of empowered patriots who are ready to do something about this bullshit? That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, patriots. Thank you. Thank you for giving a crap. Thank you for caring enough. Because my God, we got some morons running around out here loose. I mean, there's some freaking morons running around loose all over the place. You don't have to go to San Francisco anymore. You don't have to go down to New York City to find the morons. They're everywhere. They're in Target. They're in Costco. They're everywhere. And they are brainwashed sheeple. It's not your job to fix them. It's your job to stand up for the system that allows them to choose to be a brainwashed sheeple. Do you see that? Our lives mean more than the sum total of the deep state's narrative. We got, lots of stuff going on out there. This article right here, I wanted to bring your attention. Huge article talking about Wayfair. The stuff going on with Wayfair. Well, they mentioned Matrix specifically in this article. They send people to his account right here in this article. An unfounded conspiracy. Okay, yeah, it's unfounded. But what we were talking about was a question. All we did was raise a question. Isn't that interesting? So Matrix gets ridiculed for asking a question, much like little Johnny does for standing up and saying Black Lives Matter might be BS. But what they don't realize is that they are exposing themselves. They are sending more people to us. No press is bad press. Whether it's the people attacking Jesse Melton or the people attacking Joe Ray Perkins in Oregon or the people attacking you directly on Twitter or Twitter taking down your accounts or, now Twitter is saying, I think we're going to go to a subscriber-based service. What? You think I'm going to go on Twitter and pay to have morons attack me? You got another thing coming. HR 5717 proposing taxes on guns and ammo purchases. Not been voted on yet, but you might want to know about it. You might want to speak up about it. You might want to know that they're trying. You might want to tell somebody else, hey, this bill does put a 30% tax on the future firearm purchases, a 50% tax on future ammo purchases. Do you see this? Where's this coming from, Nancy? Nancy Pooh? Gun violence and prevention. So I'm going to tax people 30% more on their firearms and double on ammunition to stop gun violence or to stop patriots from being armed to fight my army. Which is it? Where's the Army at? I'm dropping this thread to you. Really good job here putting this together, showing you the deep underground military bases and connections. And then I would like to share something interesting with you. You think this stuff is on land, don't you? You think these deep underground military bases are on land. What if I were to tell you that there were submarine ports going to most of them? They can come out of the ocean and into a port, and like a channel lock, much like what's going on in Panama Canal, could get at least to Denver from the Pacific Ocean, probably further. Coming in from Florida, coming in from the Great Lakes, submarines, man. People don't see us down there in those submarines, Ghislaine. We control everything. We can get to the ground under the water, yo. Without anybody seeing anything. You think you know what's going on? You think you know what's under there? You do not. You can only speculate. This ties directly in with wherever it is. Joe Biden's submarine crew. Ghislaine submarine crew. This right here, I did real quick QAG, type in Flynn, and these are the drops that you get. I would like for all of my Patriots, for your homework, to go to a Q aggregator, type in the word Flynn, and read these posts, please. But one very interesting one that I wanted to focus on right now is this was queued 1282 on 4/27/18. Expand. Who interviewed Flynn? What redacted texts were released yesterday? Coincidence? Why did Flynn take the rubber bullet? Lawmakers make it public. Lawmakers learned Gmail draft comms. Lawmakers go hunting. What is the purpose of a laser pointer? You have more than you know. You see all this stuff coming out in your news right now. And you have a whole group over there that are trying to make you think someone is Q, or that the new Q is different than the old Q, or 8kun is a different platform, and how could there be no comms outside of the platform? Being dumb is kind of hard, isn't it? People pretending to be stupid so that they can drive a narrative, it's getting a little old. And I think my beautiful Patriots out here are on to it. You're on to the scam. You know it's a scam. So with this tweet right here, I'm going to share. I want the mods to drop this one because I'm going to be using this in the future. We are aggregating a list right here of what I would consider vetted sheriffs around the country. People who are commenting in here whether or not their sheriff is good, or whether or not their sheriff is a deep state tool. And so with this thread, we're going to be able to highlight some of the great people across our country in future shows that can let you know this person. We're going to do some of the work for you. I know I told you to go out there and vet your own candidates, but we're going to do a little bit of the work for you. We've been speaking with a few of the different constitutional sheriffs around the country. As a matter of fact, Bards of War has spoken to his personal sheriff in his county, and Matrix has spoken to his sheriff, and we've spoken to the sheriff there that's running in Broward and a few other places. But I'd like to use this thread so I can come back to it in the future. So if you guys have a great sheriff that you have vetted and you think he's a constitutional sheriff, come to this thread and leave me a comment. Or if you have an asshat for a sheriff who is a deep state clown, do the same for me. Come here and identify that person as a deep state clown so that other people can use this thread as a resource to look for themselves and to maybe find out some information on their own. I would really appreciate that. I think the mods have already dropped that for you out there right now. What's the secret, President Xi?
Here, but now they're gone. Seasons don't fear the reaper. The wind, the sun, or the rain, we can be like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand, don't fear the reaper. We'll be able to fly, baby, I'm your man. Baby, I'm your man. La, Valentine is done. Here, but now they're gone. Romeo and Juliet are together in eternity. Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet. Redefine happiness. We can be like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand, don't fear the reaper.
The media punches down at you, punches down at the American. They say you're racist, systemically racist. They say you have no honor. When it's them projecting their vile, insane hatred towards the ideals of freedom. Hollywood has distorted everything, guys. Establishment is the illusion. What are they doing to us? Why does the media punch down at the American people instead of punch up at authority? Why? Ask yourself that. Ask other people that. Every single event that you know in history has been distorted by Hollywood. Like all of it. It's been erased. It's been manipulated. And it's been replaced with the narrative that they want you to think. You already knew this. But you've got to start explaining it to other people. You have to realize that we are the last bastion of hope. We are the last stand. We're the last people on earth to say we respect, we defend, and we want our freedom. And our freedom means that you're not allowed to tread on me. You're treading on me when you feed me propaganda. You're treading on me whenever you teach my children BS in school. You're treading on me whenever you tell me I have to wear a mask. You're treading on me whenever you tell me that I can't go outside. You're treading on me whenever you say I can't gather in my house with other people. You're treading on me whenever you stand out and say that vaccines are going to be mandatory and you can't leave your house without one. Do you see the footprints on your forehead? Or is it too close to notice? The jackbooted thug is the media that's implanting their narrative in your mind, in your children's minds, in your grandparents' minds, into fear, into terror. They're terrorizing us. They literally are terrorists. And they've weaponized the system to maintain control. It's as simple as that. They've weaponized the system to maintain control. And you are diffusing that bomb right now. All of you are diffusing that bomb right now in your own mind by listening to my words, by deciding, I don't give a crap what Shady says, but I'm going to think for myself. That's fine. I don't want you to listen to what I say. I want you to see what I present and then make your own decision. I'm telling you what I think. I'm not asking you to think like me. I'm telling you what I think. If you think like me, well then, wow, we've just found ourselves a friendship. And if you don't think like me, then present your counter argument in a discussion. Not with rocks and bottles and cans and fireworks at federal buildings. You're projecting a problem onto people that aren't the problem. You are being weaponized by the people that are the problem against the people that aren't the problem. And you better get mad as hell and not take it anymore. You better choose to stand up for your country. You better choose to stand up for liberty. Was the Titanic a love story? Was the Titanic a love story? No, as a matter of fact, the Titanic was the story of the beginning of the destruction of the Republic. That's what the Titanic was. The irony is unbelievable. All the people that have conspired in the dark and at night against you to ensue violence on you are now being exposed into the light. You are bringing them into the light. You are stepping into the light on your own without being prompted. You're standing in your power. You're standing in your freedom. You're standing up for freedom. You, little old you. Little old you. Done come out and stood up for freedom. Brought something to the conversation. Decided to not be passive. Decided to be an American. Decided to stand for our flag. Whoa. You're going to stand and put your heart over that flag? What a criminal. I do not tread on a person's right to kneel at our national anthem. I do not. You have a right to do that. But what I do stand up against is a person who is thinking that they have to kneel because they're being told to by the establishment by which they work or are allegiant to. My allegiance lies to my republic. My allegiance lies to you. My allegiance lies to all of those men whose lives left these shores, left these banks, and went to foreign lands and never returned. If you're too good to stand up for those people, well, then by all means, sit down. But I'm here to tell you that this country is a majority of people who are willing to stand up for those people because they know what this country means to them. Do you? Do we? We the people. We the people. We the people must stand together. Must stand in unison. Must bring this fight to their doorstep. They didn't have any trouble bringing it to yours. They brought it right to your doorstep. Let's return the favor. Let's do them a solid. Let's do the deep state a solid. Let's return the favor. Let's put their bullshit back on their porch where it came from and get it out of my yard. Because I live free. I live strong. And I stand for my republic along with an unbelievable group of patriotic, lovely, beautiful Americans. All of you. Thank you. Thank you for listening tonight. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for all the love and support that you give this channel. Thank you for all of the words of encouragement that you've given us over the last year and a half. Thank you for all the people that have helped us. Thank you for all the Patreons and the people that come and offer their thought forms, offer their thoughts, offer their insights, offer their critique. We welcome it. We love it. We cherish it. We will never forget it. All of you mean something. All of you matter. You are not a sheep. You're an American sovereign. You need to be powerful. You need to learn your history. You need to learn your form of government. And you need to start taking your power back, Patriots. Thank you so much. I want you to feel free to please post in the YouTube comments below if you have something to say, or if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. One of the mods or maybe one of us can answer if you don't have an answer, so don't hesitate to send it to us. But we are here to describe that there is a clear line between the truth and the lie. The truth is, you're the global elite. The truth is, you are the ones who stand up for freedom. The truth is, you are the one that stands up for liberty. The truth is, you are the one who will not falter when called to duty. And I know that about you. I know that about all of you. I want to thank all of the wonderful moderators out there for keeping up with me and bringing you the sauce, the source, or the links, and keeping up with this great conversation that I've had tonight. I appreciate every single one of you that are in this chat. I appreciate all of America, and I want to say, go forth and red pill my beautiful patriots out there. So much to do, so little time. 100 days till the election, guys. I want to say much love to you and your friends and your family. And this is Shady Groove. Good night.
Shit, biz on good. When I roll 20 deep, so